Cobra Kai is one of the biggest Netflix shows ever. The show was so good that it earned an order for the second season just a week after the first show came out. The show has some pretty amazing scenes, some of which actually reference the 80s Karate Kid movie too, which is to be expected. In this video, we're going to be going over some of the best scenes from Cobra Kai that changed absolutely everything. During the very first episode of Cobra Kai, we found out more about Johnny's life after Karate Kid. His life had fallen downhill and he barely had any money to survive. If things couldn't get any worse, he even had a child who he neglected his entire life. But Johnny's still a complete jerk. He catcalled women on the street and referred to Miguel as an immigrant the first time he saw him. But even Johnny wasn't all that bad. He saw Miguel getting harassed by other kids at the convenience store, and he decided to teach him a lesson, as in he beat the crap out of them, saving Miguel. The reason why this scene is so important is that it shows us that Johnny has actually changed, or is at least trying to get better. When Karate Kid first started, Mr. Miyagi saves Daniel from Johnny and his squad who were bullying him. Amanda and Tori really hated each other when they first met. The hate was justified for Amanda though, after all. Tori did attack Sam with a spiked bracelet just because she was jealous. Amanda even got Tori fired from her job as a waitress after she did that. But when she found out Tori's situation at home, Amanda decided to help her out instead of getting revenge. Even though Tori was pretty skeptical at first, she still accepted help from her and went to the LaRusso household. Tori asked her to help get back to school, and Amanda even convinced Tori to talk to a therapist. This scene showed how Tori was finally willing to let others help her. She'd always done everything herself after her mother got sick, and she became completely independent. It also showed that she's willing to become a better person too. The last time she went to the LaRusso house was when she broke in and fought with Sam, but this time she came in peace. Since the beginning of the show, Daniel insists that Miyagi-Do is all about defense, which is the complete opposite of what Cobra Kai believes in. But that all changed when we got to see Daniel's rival from the Karate Kid sequel, Chozen. When they first fought in the show, Chozen struck first. Now, this baffled Daniel since he'd always thought Miyagi-Do was about self-defense. Ultimately, Daniel lost because Chozen was way more powerful than him. Unlike Daniel, Chozen continued to keep up with karate his whole life, even after Karate Kid. He later then became a professional sensei. Daniel, on the other hand, left karate and became a car dealer instead. Because of this, Chozen easily won the fight. This scene taught Daniel that protecting yourself doesn't just mean blocking hits. Just like Chozen said, defense can take on many forms. Most of the time, defending yourself just isn't enough. This scene also taught Daniel that Johnny can change just like Chozen did. He isn't the same kid he knew back in the 80s. He's an adult now, with a child. The end of season 2 was probably the most memorable part of the entire show, just because of how crazy everything got. During the first and second seasons, Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai had some tension between them, but they never got into a full-fledged fight. But everything changed during the season finale, where Cobra Kai really had no mercy on Miyagi-Do. Everything started when Tori threatened Sam over the school speaker system. Just seconds later, everyone is fighting someone they had beef with. Miguel and Robbie were fighting over Sam. Dimitri fought Hawk for ruining the friendship they had for years, and Tori fights Sam over Miguel. At first, everyone thought it was just a regular old school fight that would end after the teachers stopped everyone, but things only got worse. In the main school hall, Robbie throws Miguel over the rails, which causes him to fall from the top floor. The impact was so bad that Miguel broke his spine and lost the ability to walk. Sam, on the other hand, got brutally attacked by a spiked bracelet Tori was wearing, which required stitches. What's worse is that Miguel actually let Robbie go after he remembered the lesson that Johnny taught him about how mercy and honor are two very different things. After this, nothing was the same ever again. In Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel the sport so he could defend himself against bullies that were a lot stronger than he was. Daniel later developed a passion for karate and won the tournament against Johnny, losing everything Mr. Miyagi taught him. It's the same this time. Instead, the roles are just reversed. Johnny's the one who taught Miguel everything, which helped Cobra Kai win the tournament. Robbie lost, even though he used the same techniques Daniel used against Johnny all those years ago. In this fight, Miguel and Robbie aren't the only ones facing each other either. Daniel and Johnny are too. Even though Miguel won the tournament for Johnny and Cobra Kai, the win still felt like a loss to Johnny because he realized that Daniel is a much better father than he could ever be. The fight between Tori and Sam isn't necessarily what changed Cobra Kai forever. It was actually what happened behind the scenes that are more important. See, during the 4th season, Tori and Sam face off once again at the All Valley tournament. Tori ended up winning the battle, but it wasn't because she was a better fighter than Sam, it was because the fight was rigged. Right afterward, when Cobra Kai won, Tori finds out that Terry actually bribed the referee to make her win. Even though Tori hasn't really been the nicest character in the show, she hates playing dirty. She's always said that she doesn't need to cheat because she's already good enough. The scene made Tori realize who Terry really is and how he does things. There's a huge possibility that she could leave Cobra Kai once and for all during the next season, especially now that Amanda is on her side to help her out. At the beginning of Cobra Kai, Miguel was your typical nerd who was always the victim of bullying, but after he learned karate, his life changed forever. With fighting skills on his side, Miguel was not only able to defend him, but he also helped Sam out. After Kyler spread a rumor about Sam, she was humiliated in the school cafeteria, and then Miguel took it upon himself to fight Kyler along with his minions to teach him a lesson. In the end, Miguel won the fight, which completely flipped the school's social hierarchy. This was also the reason why Johnny's failed dojo ended up getting so many members. Not only that, but Cobra Kai changed Hawk from an anxious dork to one of the most feared kids in the school. During the start of season 3, Kreese decided to call Terry Silver to help out with the dojo since it kept getting more and more members. He also saved Terry's life during the Vietnam War, so Terry still owed Kreese a little favor. After a lot of convincing, Kreese was able to make Terry the sensei of Cobra Kai with him. Because of Terry's wealth, Cobra Kai was able to get better equipment and even more members. He also used his money to play dirty so he could get what he wanted. Even though Kreese got Terry to join Cobra Kai so he could help out, it was ultimately this decision that caused Kreese to get framed and arrested. While Kreese has horrible morals, he still ain't as bad as Terry. He actually disagreed with a lot of the things that Terry implemented in the dojo. When Terry realized that Kreese was only interfering with what he truly wanted, he decided he didn't need him anymore. So he beat the living crap out of Stingray when he asked to join the dojo. And then he forced him to pretend like Kreese was the one who beat him up. Kreese ended up getting arrested and taken away at the very end of season 4, leaving Terry as the only sensei at Cobra Kai. When Cobra Kai found out that there was a chance of Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang becoming one dojo, they decided to act fast and literally broke into the LaRusso household. Everyone fights their rivals during this, like Tori and Sam, but the reason why this scene is so important is that Hawk finally went back to being Eli. When Hawk saw his fellow Cobra Kai members trying to break Dimitri's arm like they did before, he actually saved him instead of helping his teammates out. Even though their friendship seemed to be at an all-time low, they were still best friends deep down. And that's a wrap for today's video. What was your favorite scene from Cobra Kai? Make sure to let us know in that little text box down below where you get to share your opinions and be heard. And yeah, as always, leave a like, thumbs up, notification bell, all that boring YouTuber propaganda, and we'll see you next time.